Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Wednesday, December the 30th, race number 10 at Gulfstream Park. We close out the card with a very interesting maiden race for 2-year-old fillies going about 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Let's throw up the field. You can download free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. In those formulator past performances, Mike, you get all the pedigree information and trainer stats that you could hope for, and there are some really good pedigrees in this field.
Yeah, some well-bred horses, a lot of top trainers represented. Dan, there are some interesting first-time starters in here. None that I could necessarily get behind, but, certainly some horses that, might draw some attention in this race.
I agree with you. There are some horses not only that are first-time starters, but trying turf for the first time that look interesting on paper. But then you look at the horses that have run on turf, and I'm just not sure I want to try a first-time starter going 2 turns against some of these more experienced horses who have run some nice races.
Yeah, exactly how I looked at it too. Then I think some of the horses in here who have already run on turf, they actually look okay.
Let's throw up the Timeform US Pace Projector. Graham Motion's number 11, Candace O, is expected to make the lead, and it's very hard to project who's going to make the pace in a full field of 2-year-olds. Candace O happened to be on the lead last time out at Aqueduct. She ran okay in that spot. I think she could be forwardly placed, but it wouldn't surprise me if several of these horses, like the 9 Causing a Hullabaloo, tries to make the lead stretching out. Even the 12 Super All-Star could get forward.
Yeah, I didn't really spend too much time, Dan, trying to figure that stuff out. I do think Candace O could make the lead. I mean, all in all, I guess that was a pretty solid pace she made last time. And it feels like she did take a step forward from her debut. From the outside post, maybe Ortiz would have sent her.
Now, there's a short run going into the first turn in 7.5 furlong turf races at Gulfstream, and the 1 hole could be seen as an advantage. Starship Enterprise does draw the 1. She's one of those well-bred fillies. She's an honor code half-sister to Wild About Deb, who's a multiple grade 2 placed router on the dirt. And let's watch Starship Enterprise's most recent race on the turf at Gulfstream West going this distance. Now, she makes the lead turning into the stretch, Mike, and boy, it looks like she's home free here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, Dan. This wasn't the kind of performance. There's nothing wrong with it. She made a 4-wide move on the turn. You can see her getting to a short lead there. She's going to get gunned down late by a first-time starter who's closing at 21-1. I don't know. I mean, she ran fine in there, but I just feel like this is a way tougher spot.
The number 2 is Cash Refund, going out for a Poli stable and Michael Maker by the top European racehorse Golden Horn. This dam was grade 2 placed on the turf as a 2-year-old. This filly's getting blinkers for the first time, Mike, and I thought she ran okay in her debut. I have a feeling she probably wasn't cranked up for her best. I'm expecting improvement with Caffaleone aboard.
Me too. I think she's going to run better in this race. First of all, I think she landed in a pretty good field, that Aqueduct. The winner of that race, technical analysis, looks pretty good for Chad and Klarovich. She looked like a horse who maybe needed that race. She didn't have any excuse, as far as I could tell, from what her trip turned out to be. I thought she was clear all the way, but she was really racing on with some interest late in that race. I think she's taking a step forward here.
I think one of the interesting long shots in this race, if you're looking maybe to complete a trifecta or a superfecta or use as a backup in multiple leg wagers, is the 3 Zia's Song by Kitten's Joy out of a multiple stakes winning router. This horse is bred to go long, and she made her debut going 5 furlongs on the turf, and she kind of ran around there. I have a feeling she's going to improve, and I think that was a pretty good field. The runner-up came back to win with a 66 buyer at Gulfstream.
Yeah, I mean, the horses that ran 1-2 in that race just dominated that field. They opened up a big lead on that field early. They never gave that field a chance. They both look like they could be pretty good. This horse did have a little bit of a trip there, Dan. I mean, on the far turn, a horse right in front of her lost her rider. This horse had to steady very sharply at that point and just dropped all the way out of it. She wasn't going to win from there. I suppose she could take a big step forward. And here, I didn't really know what to do with her.
Much improved half-mile breeze recently in 47 and change. Just have a feeling she's going to improve stretching out in her second lifetime start. Stuck on Kitten's another horse bred for more ground. She's by Kitten's Joy out of a Monjou mare, and she ran okay in her debut going 6 furlongs in Aqueduct. Let's watch the replay right now. Joe Rosario took her to the inside, entering the turn, now gets to the outside in the familiar Ramsey colors. She's got a big look at this, Mike. She's going to actually emerge with a short lead. She's going to get gunned down by a first-time starter that was a big long shot, but a horse that might have a little bit of a future.
Yeah, the horse that wins this race is actually pretty good, has a nice pedigree, and he actually got a really good trip. You could see the winner there stayed towards the inside and got clear in the stretch. Stuck on Kitten didn't have any excuse at all in that race, but she ran really well in a race that came back fast, and she's bred to stretch out.
Here's the number 5, Talk Radio, going out for the great Bill Mott. We know Mott likes to give his 2-year-olds a start or two before they do their best. And Talk Radio, I thought, ran just fine in her debut, going 2 turns at Churchill Downs. She didn't break very well. She passed a couple of tired horses in the stretch. The second place finisher came back to run second again on dirt with a 72 buyer. And this Dam was a nice horse on the turf, grade 3 placed.
Yeah, a little bit of pedigree on the Dam side. The Dam could run a little bit. Her second Dam was a real good horse. We'll see what happens. The pedigree is not great, but it's a little bit interesting. And I just sort of felt like when I watched her debut, she just looked to me like she really needed that race. Dan never looked like she was going to win. Never made a real serious run at it, but she was staying on, I thought, very gamely to the end.
You miss a chance to take a shot at Gemologist, don't you? Not a bad pedigree, but you see Gemologist and immediately it must stick in your craw. The 6 is Wolfbane, a first-time starter in here for Rusty Arnold. Now, this is a filly by Union Rags. The Union Rags do well with distance. They're not great turf runners. Union Rags wins 4% with first-time turf runners. The Dam was a multiple stakes winning sprinter. This is a half-sister to Paola Queen, who won the Test, a grade 1 race going 7/8 on the dirt. So it's a really nice pedigree. Not exactly for turf, though.
Yeah, it's more of a dirt pedigree. That half sister to her did win the Test at like 1,000,000 to 1, but she was actually a pretty nice horse. We'll see. I don't love this horse's pedigree for turf. And again, as we already discussed, I don't really like the first-time starters in here.
I guess of maybe the horses trying turf or running first out, the horse I like the most is the 7 Here, a $205,000 purchase by First Crop Stallion Frosted. More of a dirt pedigree here, too. It's an acceptable enough turf pedigree, but the Dam's a half to a horse that won the Amsterdam sprinting on the dirt. This filly shows an interesting string of works. Freddie Keneally, Paco Lopez takes them out.
Yeah, a guy, Keneally, who can win with a first-time starter. I'm sort of with you. The Frosteds, I don't mind on turf. It feels like they're running a lot of these Frosteds on the grass early in their careers, and I don't mind him as a turf sire. But again, these horses that are debuting in this race, I don't think they found that easy a spot.
Getting a nice price on a Todd Pletcher trained first-time starter. That's the number 8, A Thing of Beauty. And A Thing of Beauty has a nice pedigree. I'm just not sure it's for turf. She's by Bernardini. And if you think the Union Rags can't step on the turf, well, Bernardini clicks at a 3% rate with first-time turf runners. Add in the fact that the Dam's a half to the Breeders' Cup Distaff winner Stop Charging Maria. And I wonder why she's racing on turf in her debut.
I wonder about that as well. I won't be surprised if she runs okay, Dan, but I'm not going to bet her even if she does go off at a good price for Pletcher here. The Dam's only other foal is 1 for 7. The only win did come on turf, but it was sprinting. It just feels like more of a dirt pedigree.
Causing a Hullabaloo is the number 9, and I would expect her to be forwardly placed. This is a live oak homebred by Malibu Moon out of a multiple stakes winning dirt router. Mark Cassie has pretty good numbers going sprint to route over the years. I think this horse can run okay. I just have a feeling she caught a pretty tough field for this level.
Yeah, I wonder if she really fits in this race. And I do think she'll show speed, though, Dan. And of all the horses who are just feel like anyway they could get totally lost in the wagering here, maybe she's the most interesting one because there is a little bit of turf.
Next up is the number 10, Cadencia, also going out for Todd Pletcher. And this filly's got some experience, 3 solid races on the turf. Buyer speed figures are okay. She's earned buyers of 73 and 74 in her first and most recent lifetime start, respectively. I haven't seen the explosion in the stretch. I think she's the kind of filly that needs to work out a trip.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dan. I just don't. I mean, I know on paper she probably looks pretty good. I don't really like her races. Her career debut, where she just missed, big pace in that race, big closers race. She had basically all the best of it there and got out finished by a long shot. Last time, I mean, we go back and watch the replay of that race if you want to. I mean, how did she not win that day? She got a great trip from Junior, got to the inside, threw on the rail to the lead in the stretch, and just easily out finished by everybody. And I know that was a good field, Dan, but I don't like that effort.
Candace O, the number 11, 2 starts, 2 narrow defeats, including this race on November the 15th in Aqueduct. She is her expected pace setter, according to the Timeform US pace projector. She made the lead in this race at 9-2 odds. She's on her left lead down to about the 8th pole, and she runs okay. I didn't think this was the greatest field in the world. She is a full sister to Opry, who is a good grade 3 stakes winner on the turf, and a horse that needed a few races basically to find his stride.
Yeah, maybe she'll take another step forward here. We'll see if she can get a trip from post 11. All in all, I guess that pace was solid. You can just see the replay there, though, Dan. Nobody closed at all in that race. They basically went 1, 2, 3 around the track. This horse had the lead and just couldn't hold on to it.
Super All-Star is the number 12. You could go back and watch the Starship Enterprise replay that we showed earlier on. She ran 3rd in that race, Super All-Star, and she ran okay in that spot with some tactical speed. I just am not sure what kind of trip she pulls from post 12. Corey Lannery likes to save ground. Good luck from this post.
Yeah, I guess if he wants to save ground, he's going to have to take her back to last to angle over. I don't know how that's going to work out for her. Out of that race, I'd rather have this horse than Starship Enterprise, who finished 2nd in there, but I don't know what she can do from post 12.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Wednesday DRF race of the day. You're going with Talk Radio, the 5. We've often seen Bill Mott trained second-time starters improve. This horse ran well. She took a little bit of money, I thought, in her debut at Churchill Downs. She ran okay. I'm expecting her to move forward.
Yeah, me too. I just felt like she could be an okay price in this race, Dan, and it just looked like a useful debut to me. I think the horse that you have on top that I put 2nd is the horse to beat in there. I thought that horse ran really well on debut, so I'll use that horse, but I'll try to beat her. Take a small shot with the 5.
Stuck on Kitten ran well in her debut. As Mike mentioned, she really didn't have a ton of excuses. I think Cash Refund's going to run well for Michael Maker. 2nd time out, she debuted going a route. She now gets blinkers. Just have a feeling she's going to be more cranked and ready to go. Cadencia just seems like a kind of an underneath horse to me. But Talk Radio for Mike. He grits his teeth and goes with the gemologist. 5, 4, 2, and 3 for Mike. 4, 2, 10, and 7 for me. With your Wednesday DRF race of the day, the finale at Gulfstream has an approximate post time of 5:13 Eastern. Best of luck.